All right, let's turn to our legal contributor, Sunny Hostin. She's here to talk all about the different stories the prosecution is working with. And, Sunny, before I get to you, I want to just point this one thing out. David Doyle was one of the other teen drivers that was involved in the crash, and he faced charges. He accepted a plea deal, as we just talked about, pleading guilty to the lesser charge and testifying for the prosecution. Now, he explained during his testimony where all the vehicles were right before the crash. Let's take a look.
You come on down again with the court's permissions. Thank you. Would you come on down? Would you put where Mr. Davis's car is in the center lane and where Mr. James LaCoursier's vehicle is in the center lane? And I want you to take a look at where you have the front end of Mr. Davis's vehicle and the back end of your vehicle. Is that the spacing that reflects the spacing just prior to the accident?
Yes.
If you would have a seat again. Thank you.
Okay, remember that spacing. We're going to come back to it. Now, the defense ripped Doyle apart when it was their turn to question him.
You stated this throwing the bottles in each other's trucks started in the parking lot of the school, AIS. Is that correct?
We weren't throwing them, but yes.
Were you underhanding them? Is that
No,
what
we were picking them up and putting them inside the trucks.
They call that pop bottle tag?
I want to call it anything, just goofing around.
Now, I want to understand your testimony correctly. Is it your testimony that between 30 Mile Road, where you left the school, and 26 Mile, at the light, there was no improper driving whatsoever on your part, Mr. LaCoursier's part, or Mr. Tozier's part? Is that your testimony here today, that nobody did anything wrong in that stretch?
Yes.
And if witnesses were to get up later and testify that you did, would they be liars?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll withdraw, Your
In the
Honor.
form of the question, but requiring a conclusion on somebody else's testimony.
Sustained.
I'll withdraw.
Thank you.
See, Sonny, you know what he's building on? He's building on this concept that a lot of us, I think, are feeling, and I know lawyers would be feeling if they're up there, to say, you know, these teens, they're talking about these things, but they sound like they're not doing anything wrong. And it kind of reminds you of a kid who gets in trouble, and he doesn't really want to admit it, so he's going to say, I didn't do anything wrong. And Bob Vitale was just calling him on it.
It totally called him on. I mean, you know, he said they set this in motion, and I think that's very important. It's an extremely important fact. They're throwing bottles in between cars. They're playing this game of chicken. And for him, even in response to the bottle thing, to say, you know, I don't have a name for it. I was just, you know, we were just joking around, diminishes the effect of those actions. And so I think the defense attorney was right on in trying to really shine a spotlight on the fact that they not only started this horrible turn of events, they're not even understanding their culpability in it. So I thought that was really a good point.